Hello friends, I hope you've been doing well. It's almost the new year when I'm recording this. By the time it comes out, it will be 2022, which is kind of crazy actually, but we're going to do a vinyasa flow today, and it's going to be a little challenging, even for me, but I think that's going to be a good way to start out our new year, hopefully. So you're going to get this video in two parts. One part is going to be edited down so that you have a lower level class to start with. It'll be a little shorter and a little less challenging in some of the poses. That doesn't mean you can't make them more challenging, and that doesn't mean they are not going to be challenging for you. I'm just providing a little bit of variation and options and seeing how this goes. And then the longer video will be the full class that you can tackle at your own speed whenever you'd like to. And the theme for these classes, it's going to be focusing on one of the third Niyamas, which is part of the 8 limbs of yoga by Patanjali. And the third Niyama is Tapas, which Sanskrit boils down to basically to burn or heat and passion. So, you know, a lot of people think of it like burning passion, like we've got this passion for life or whatever it may be, but it could also be this driving passion for discipline or challenging yourself. And sometimes it's actually how can you challenge yourself differently. So maybe you're used to pushing yourself through all of these types of physical challenges, but it could also be nice to figure out how can you challenge yourself to allow yourself to rest. So lots of deep stuff that we can talk about with that, but just kind of think about where you're at in this as we get started in our practice today, and allow yourself whichever type of cultivation you'd like. And maybe you can push that over into the rest of your life off of the mat as you start the new year. I would like to show you a mudra, Kubera mudra, which is also great for cultivation. Basically, you'll take your peace fingers, the middle and index finger, and you're going to place them against your thumb, and then your other two fingers, you're going to curl them into the palm of your hand. So we've got kind of like a chef's kiss is what I think of it when I'm putting it together. But you do that with both hands, and you can allow them to rest on your knees or maybe somewhere in your lap. So go ahead and take that mudra. Let's find a nice comfortable seat and allow yourself to close your eyes or have a nice soft gaze, whatever fits your practice today. Let's take a deep breath and then empty everything out. Let's find our way onto the mat, both physically and mentally. And start to think about what you'd like to cultivate in your life. Maybe it's hard to think about resolutions or what you'd like to do for the new year. Personally, I'm just going to call them goals this year. I'm working towards goals. Take another couple of deep breaths so we just check in with our body. Note how you're feeling. Maybe this is the place to decide whether you're going to push yourself a little further or whether you're going to take it a little easy. Whichever one you decide, you can also change your mind in the middle. Just remember, there's never any judgment from me here. And I hope that you refrain from judging yourself with whatever it is that you decide to choose. Now that you know, or at least space. You're maybe working towards some thoughts on what you'd like to cultivate for the year. Let's go ahead and cultivate and set an intention for this practice. Maybe the intention is just going to be thinking about cultivation. Whatever your cultivation is, your bhakti, you can find that. Maybe the intention is just to find your own tapas during this practice, challenge yourself. Maybe just to build some heat. Maybe just to wrong answer. Let's take one deep inhale together, lifting the arms up and around. Hands meet in prayer overhead, and then exhale, dragging down. Thumbs find the sternum. Inhale, exhale. And if you're sitting up on something, you might want to remove what you're sitting on. And let's go ahead and start with some gentle movements, spiraling the spine, just getting lubrication going. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. And go ahead and reverse that circle. You can make this as fast or slow, deep or shallow. As usual, this is your practice, so whatever I offer today, you choose what fits your body. Go ahead and make those spirals a little smaller, until eventually stay up nice and tall. And then we're going to take a twist. So it's inhale, the arms up. Exhale, right arm comes behind you as the left hand comes to the right. Nice gentle twist to start. Every time you inhale, press your sit bones into the ground, lengthen that spine, and as you exhale, see if you can twist a little more. And release back to front, inhaling the arms overhead again, and then exhaling to the other side. Maybe your gaze is over your left shoulder, or maybe it's just going that way. Go ahead and release back to front. Let's inhale the arms up one more time. Maybe looking up at the hands, and then exhale the right arm down beside you as we come into just a gentle stretch for the left side, reaching that left arm up and over the head. Finding your breath, keeping that nice deep inhale and long exhale that we found at the beginning. And then allow your hands to drop behind your head so you have your elbow in a triangle. And when you inhale, really open that elbow so that your chest opens towards the sky. And then when you exhale, we're going to close our chest down towards the mat, elbow towards the knee. They do not have to touch. We'll flow through this a few times. Inhale, open, elbow up. Exhale, close, elbow towards the knee. And continue with your own breath at your own speed. And when you reach your next exhale, go ahead and allow yourself to remain with the elbow towards the knee. As you breathe, really inhale towards that upper back and shoulder area. See if you can feel that stretch opening everything up back there. Then let's release the hand to the ground. Walk hand over hand so we're back in front of legs, and then walk ourselves back up to a nice tall sit. And let's do the other side. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, left arm down this time. Right arm up and over. Breathe here. You may find that your forearm comes fully on the ground. Maybe you don't want it to. You want to adjust the distance between your hand and your body. Go ahead and drop that hand behind the head. Open the elbow, press it back. And when you exhale, close elbow towards opposite knee. And continue with your own breath. Your speed may not match mine, and that is okay. When you come to your next exhale, go ahead and breathe here for a moment. And then allow the hand to come back to the ground as we walk hand over hand so that we're back nice and straight. Sitting up. And then let's go ahead and roll over our legs. Come back to tabletop, get set up. And then let's just do some cat-cows. So whatever you would like your cat-cow to feel like or look like, maybe you wiggle a little, maybe you find circles. Whatever you do, honor what your body is asking you for today. If we can make a really good routine and habit of that as we go through the beginning of our year, just think of how much we might be able to accomplish as the year moves on. Come back to neutral spine once you've finished your last round there. And then on an inhale, we're going to bring our left arm up, or forward, I should say, and then the right leg back. Coming into a bird dog, also heard this called sun dog. And just hold here. This is a great way to start building some heat. Pull that belly into the spine so we can activate the core. On an exhale, let's bring our elbow towards our knee. Press the ground away with the hand and the knee that's on the ground. And then inhale, open up again. Bring the left hands to the ground. And then this time we're just going to bring our right knee in and just walk it up for a low lunge. Blocks are a great choice here, or books. Something that can lift the earth up to you. They're not required. If you don't want them, that's okay. We're just gonna feel this low lunge for just a moment as we get started. Direct that tailbone down, see how that changes, what feels different in your quad, different type of sensation in your hip flexor area. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to walk our hands on the inside of our right foot. Walk them out off the mat, almost like we're doing a downward dog in our hands. And we're going to do a low warrior dog here. We can exhale, release down a little bit. Inhale, wave up. Just find a bit of movement. Walk your hands back in. Bring that right foot back. Press the big toes together. Open the knees and sit back for a child. Breathe here. See if you can find expansive breath. Breathing 360 degrees into everywhere, every nook and cranny, all throughout the torso, even into the back. And then imagine that you can direct your breath into the upper part of your back. Inhaling, pressing it into that area we were stretching earlier. Exhaling everything out. And on your next inhale, when you do that again, allow that breath to lift you up all the way back into your tabletop. And we'll do the other side. Inhale, right arm comes up, left leg goes back, pointing the toes and the fingers away from one another, a nice long line, really pulling that belly in again. Remembering to breathe because we're building heat here. And next exhale, let's bring the elbow to the knee. Inhale, open everything back up. Right hand down to the ground. Let's inhale that left leg up. Maybe you grab your blocks again, if you did on the other side. If you would like to keep your fingers tinted, hands on the ground, do that as well. We're just working into this quad, thigh, hip flexor area on the other side. Directing that tailbone down again really helps with keeping the lower back feel safe and secure. And then let's walk our hands to the inside of the left foot and then off the mat on the other side. Setting up for warrior dog and then undulating again. So exhaling down, inhaling. Finding your own rhythm with your own breath. Find some stillness, and then let's go ahead and move back onto the mat. Bringing that left foot back. Setting up for child's pose again. Opening the knees, letting the belly rest between them. If that doesn't feel good for your back, then you can keep the knees close together. And then next inhale, let's lift everything up. Find your tabletop again. This time, let's tuck those toes. A nice big inhale again. Exhale, lift those knees, send the hips up and back as we come into our first downward dog. Since it's our first downward dog, let's go ahead and walk the dog. Really opening into those hamstrings. Maybe they haven't gotten a lot of love today. I know mine haven't. I'm feeling very stiff. It's okay if that's how you come to practice. That's what practice is for. And then eventually find some stillness. On your next inhale, let's bring that right foot forward. Find your low lunge once more. Go ahead and allow the knee to come down right here. And then let's inhale the right arm up. Find a nice revolve. Actually, when you inhale next, see if you can lift up. Arms remain in a T as we twist to the right side. If you're not perfectly straight, that's okay. See where you can go. We're all just playing with it, seeing where we can challenge ourselves and where we need to back off. And if you feel safe and balanced here, maybe you can inhale, lift that back leg. And do it again. On your next inhale, let's bring our arms forward. Find a crescent lunge here. And then exhale, bring them down so that their hands are on the mat, but we're still in our lunge. Let's go ahead and walk our hands off the mat diagonally like we did for our warrior dog. And since we have our knee up, we're going to pivot this back foot into a warrior two stance. Walk your hands out a little further than you did before, maybe not, your choice. And breathe here, maybe finding that wave again. Inhaling up, exhaling down. go ahead and walk our hands back over to the mat, keeping that warrior two stance, maybe hopping your foot up just a little bit, because we're going to press evenly into both feet. Inhale and lift up, cartwheeling the arms into our warrior two. And you may take a moment to set up your warrior two here. So we have our back foot diagonal, our front foot, toes are facing off the front of the mat. And imagine we have an inward spiral on this side going up and around so that we're pressing our knee out rather than aligned with the block. On an inhale, let's flip that front palm, reverse the warrior. Exhale, cartwheel everything all the way down. And then what we're going to do here is go ahead and just shift and adjust so that we come into Skandasana. If Skandasana does not work, you can come a little higher up into just a side lunge. For full Skandasana, make sure you're pressing the left heel into the mat so that your knee comes up and doesn't hyperextend. And you can use this elbow to press into the knee, give yourself a nice brace. Try to direct the tailbone down, lift the crown of the head up. Go ahead and place the hands down. And then walk yourself over to the other side. So we're at the back. It'll feel different on either side, most likely. Maybe one side is a little easier. Just allow yourself to breathe into both differences. Go ahead and place the hands down on the mat one more time. We're going to lift just a little bit so that we can walk over for a low lunge on the back of the mat on this side. Go ahead and allow the knee to come down. Let's inhale the arms up, Anjaneyasana. And then exhale, we're going to cactus them down. So we're dragging our elbows back, opening the chest until they come all the way down. And clasp your hands behind your back. Or you may clasp elbows if reaching the hands is more difficult. If none of that works, you can do hands on your hips. And exhale. Next, go ahead and allow your body to slowly lower down. Clasped hands coming up for humble warrior with our knee down. And then exhale, allow the clasped hands to come back down to the back as you slowly lift yourself back up. I'm going to place the hands on the mat, lift that back knee, pivot the back foot. Stance is in warrior two, and come back up to another warrior two facing the back of the mat. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, come down to side angle pose. Various options here. Elbow can be on the knee, can be pressing against the knee if you don't want to rest it on there. You can also reach it down so that your fingertips or hand is on the ground. Arm can be straight up, arm can be over the head. Breathe. On an inhale, we're going to come up through our warrior two. Go ahead and extend that left leg and come back down into Skandasana on the front of the mat. We're just going to pivot forward to the front of the mat, walk this right foot over a little bit, step the left one up, and settle into Malasana Yogi Squat. Elbows are pressing the knees away from one another. Knees are pressing into the elbows, so we have that equal opposite force going on. Extending the tailbone down and lifting the crown of the head so we have a nice tall spine. On an exhale, we're going to place the hands on the mat, lift the hips, go ahead and walk heel toe, I should say, the feet back in. And whatever your forward fold usually looks like, bring your toes maybe a little closer together. I tend to have mine a little further apart because it feels better for me. Let's see if we can do this a little closer together. We're going to bring our hands up to our back, clasp them once more, or get as close as you can. Actually, a strap is also a really good option right here. And go ahead and lift them up and allow them to drop, getting a nice opening in our shoulders. Next exhale, let's bring our hands down to our lower back before releasing them. Bring them down. On an inhale, let's lift halfway, hands to shin block or mat. Exhale, release back down. Then we're going to do a bit of an awkward mix of poses. Call it awkward cat-cow chair. So go ahead and bend the knees. On an inhale, we're going to lift everything up using the back of our chest again. Come up into a chair. This is kind of like a cow pose. I've got my chest pressing out, arms cactusing back, and then exhale. We'll do cow as we come down and then come back into our Uttanasana. Let's do it one more time. Bend the knees, inhale, lift up, awkward chair. Exhale, come back down. This time, bend the knees, inhale, but let's just roll all the way up. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, hands in prayer in front of heart center. One round of breath. And then allow the hands to release at your side for Tadasana. Take a moment, 1, maybe 2 rounds of breath. Just really feel your foundation and feel where you're at. All right, let's inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, dive down. Step back to downward dog. And then your choice of vinyasa. I'm gonna inhale forward. Exhale, chaturanga down, but you can do knees, chest, chin. Inhale up, cobra or upward dog. Exhale back to downward dog. This time, let's inhale, bring that left foot forward. Go ahead and drop that knee. Place the right hand on the mat. Inhale the left one up. Send your left hip back just a little bit. Start to feel the inhale, lightening the left hand, releasing some of that collapsing weight into the right hand. And then eventually let's inhale, lift up into our T. When you're ready, lift the back knee. And let's go ahead and release to the front, finding a quick crescent, inhaling, arms up, exhaling, arms come down. Pivot that back foot for warrior 2 feet. And then walk the hands off the side of the mat on the right side and find your warrior dog here. If you'd like to wave, inhale up, exhale down. And let's go ahead and walk our hands back. Set up the feet just a little bit. Really press down into both feet evenly as we inhale, cartwheel our arms up for warrior 2 on this side. Adjust legs as needed, pressing evenly into both feet, remembering to press the left knee out. Find that inward and upward spiral Inhale, flip the front palm, find your reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel everything down to the mat. And then adjust your footing for Skandasana. Oh, sometimes I sit back in Skandasana, like just happened, so rest assured if it happens to you, it's not abnormal. Practice is a great way to laugh things off. Go ahead and place the hands down to the mat so we can Skandasana to the back. Find your breath. And then go ahead and adjust, walking into a low lunge here. And go ahead and set your knee down. Let's inhale, arms up. And then exhale, cactus them down. Clasp the hands behind. Release into humble warrior. Inhale, back up. Let's go ahead. Place the hands back on the ground. Lift the back knee, pivot the foot into warrior two. And then inhale, come back up. Cartwheeling the arms, finding your warrior two. Inhale, flip the palm, reverse warrior. And then exhale, come all the way down into side angle on this side. Remember to avoid collapsing in the lower shoulder. And inhale, let's come up and Skandasana all the way to the back of the mat. After one round of breath, let's come back to the front of the mat, walking our left foot to the edge as we step the right one up and settle into our Malasana Squat. Hands to the mat, lift the hips, walk the feet a little closer than normal. Forward fold Uttanasana. Bend the knees generously. Inhale, lift everything up. And exhale, cactus the arms down to forward fold. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then inhale, let's just roll up. Arms come up overhead. Hands in prayer in front of the chest. Allow the hands to relax at your side for mountain pose. Take a couple rounds of breath here. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, dive down. Step back to downward dog. Vinyasa. Inhale forward. Exhale down, your choice. Inhale up. Exhale back to downward dog. Let's inhale the right leg forward for a low lunge, this time leaving the knee up. Inhale, right arm comes up. As we find our T, start to find that lift in the right arm, and on your next inhale again, we'll lift. Trying again until you get there, or as close as you're gonna get today. This time, let's see if we can take a bind. So start with maybe the back arm, and then the front arm, and wrap them around one another. Just a very simple bind, hands behind the back. On your next exhale, let's release everything, come into a crescent lunge, and then hands come down so that we can walk hands over, pivot that back foot, find your warrior dog, and undulate. Come back to the mat. Inhale, lift into warrior two. Inhale, reverse the warrior. Exhale, back to warrior two. And this time, we'll bind here. Again, very simple binds. We're not trying to do anything crazy, just some adjustments, opening the front chest a little bit. Go ahead and release back into warrior two, and this time we're just going to sit back directly in Skandasana on the back. Hands to the mat as we walk back to a lunge on the back of our mat. Go ahead and pivot the toes so that they're both facing the short end of the mat. Inhale into a crescent lunge, sorry. And then exhale, cactus those arms. Bring the hands behind the back to clasp. And then we'll come forward when you're ready into humble warrior. Inhale up. Come back into our crescent lunge. And then go ahead and open into a warrior two. Adjust your footing as needed. Inhale, flip the front palm, reverse the warrior. Exhale, back to side angle. And now here, maybe you bring your elbow down a little bit. If you'd like to try to bind, bring the right elbow, try to bring it to your thigh of the bent knee. And if you'd like to go even further, you can bring the left hand to meet the right. Keeping that bend in that front knee. Maybe gaze up. If that's too much on your balance, you can gaze back. Go ahead and release the bind. Bring everything down to the mat just for a moment. And then we're going to spiral up almost through a warrior two, but really we're just going to walk our feet in a little bit. Allow your toes to angle out, your heels to angle in. Bend those knees, come to goddess. And actually, let's take our Kubera Mudra again. So, let's find cultivation. My quads are screaming. So swaying always helps me, so maybe that will help you. Inhale, lift into star. Give yourself a break. Exhale, down to goddess. So this is definitely a challenge for me. If this is a challenge for you, that's okay. Let's go ahead and inhale up. Bring the arms into a T. And then let's bring them to our waist. Adjust the foot, or both feet. Now our toes are angled in just a little bit, heels are angled out, and then let's slowly chest forward, bend down into wide angle, forward fold. Hands can release to the mat. Find your breath. We're just gonna lift halfway on an inhale. Walk our hands towards the front of the mat. Step that left foot up to meet the right foot for forward fold. Go ahead and exhale everything out. Make sure your big toes are pressed against one another. Knees are pressing against one another. Bend those knees, and this time let's inhale up directly into a chair. Hands together overhead. Bring them down into a prayer in front of your chest. We're going to look to the right and then place that left elbow on the right knee for a twist. On your next exhale, let's release everything back into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Step back. Downward dog. Your choice of vinyasa. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Meet in downward dog. Inhale, bring the left foot forward. Ground the right hand. Inhale, lift the left hand. And then finding that lightness in the left fingertips. Inhale, lift up into a T. And then if you'd like to find here, do so. Nice simple bind. Exhale, release, bring your hands back down to the mat. Pivot that back foot. Warrior dog on the other side. Waving up and down. Go ahead and walk your hand back over. Remain pivoted on your back leg, and then we will cartwheel our hands up for a warrior two. Maybe this time think about pulling your shoulder blades towards one another and reaching your fingertips away from one another. Inhale, flip the front palm, reverse your warrior. Exhale back to warrior two. And then if you'd like to just take that simple bind with the arms behind the back, feel free to do so. Go ahead and release. And then extend that front leg as you make your way to a Skandasana on the back of the mat. Go ahead, place the hands on the front of the mat as you pivot. Toes facing the back of the mat. Inhale, Crescent Lunge. Exhale, elbows come down, cactusing the arms until your hands can clasp behind you, or maybe using a strap so you can hold on to that. Inhale and then exhale. Release down for Humble Warrior. Go ahead and release the hands down to the lower back. Inhale, lift up. Crescent Lunge, pivot the back foot, open up into a warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle. A couple of breaths in side angle, and then if you like to, you can take a bind. Bring that left hand down, grab for the thigh, stay there, or if you'd like, you can try to grasp your hands together. Slowly release, hands down to the mat. Find your way back up. Arms out in a T. And settle in to one more goddess. Kubera Mudra, if that fits. You can bring it up if you'd like. Maybe put a a little bit more movement in your goddess. Find a sway. And then settle back in. Inhale to star. Exhale, hands to hips. Adjust the footing. And then chest leading forward as you fold into a wide-legged forward fold. Hands come down to the mat. And then inhale, halfway lift, and slowly walk your way back to the front of the mat once more. Bringing that right foot up to meet the left, setting your toes together. Big toes touch, knees pressing together. Go ahead and bend your knees generously and inhale up into a chair pose, leading with your chest. Exhale, hands down into prayer. And then we're going to lift them up as we come down to find our twist on this side with the right elbow pressing into the left knee. Go ahead and slowly release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back into downward dog. One more vinyasa. Inhaling forward. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling back. Now we're going to inhale, lift the right leg up for tripod dog, and go ahead and extend it all the way up so that your hips stack. Allow that knee to bend. Wherever you were at on any of those movements, if you stay there, that's perfect. If you would like to go a little further, you can inhale, drop that right leg down and open up for a wild thing. Next exhale, let's pivot back so that our chest is facing the mat. Everyone's in three-legged dog. Inhale, bring the right leg up on the outside of our hands. Step the left one up for one more Malasana Squat on this side. Inhale, exhale out the mouth. Nice clear. One more time. Hands down to the mat. Inhale. If you'd like, you can step or hop back. We're going back to a plank. And then we're going to lower our knees, sit back into child's pose. And then on an inhale, lift up with that into a cat. Exhale into a cow as you sit back into your child's pose. 2 more times. Inhale up, flowing through cat. Exhale down, cow to child's pose. Inhale up. And then inhale up once more through tabletop. And then move back on my mat a little bit. Extend your hands out and lower your chest for a puppy pose. And let's inhale, press into your forearms and hands. Come up, walk your hands back. Tuck our toes, lift up into a downward dog. And then we'll inhale the left leg up. Stacking those hips. And if you'd like to take it further into Wild Thing, you can. Exhale back to our tripod dog. And then sweep that left leg forward. And then the right leg forward for Malasana. Clearing breath out the mouth. One more time. Hands down to the mat. Get back to plank. And then child's pose. And then 3 more rounds of that cat-cow child's pose flow. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Once more. And then we'll inhale up into tabletop and down for puppy pose. Inhale our way up, pulling our hands back, and we're just going to very gently find your way back to a seat. And extend our legs out in front of us for staff pose. So we want to flex our feet, press our heels into the mat. Knees may be slightly bent. You don't want to hyperflex them necessarily. And then we'll sit up nice and tall, hands to the mat for traditional staff pose here. Just breathing, feeling the strength in this pose, even though it's very simple. Pressing down into the mat, even with our hands as we lift with our torso and our crown of our head. And then on an inhale, let's bring the arms up. Exhale, we're going to fold forward, but we're going to lead with the chest. Your hands may reach your feet, shins, knees, wherever it hits for you, that's just fine. We're leaving our chest open to protect the lower back here. Breathe into this for a moment. And then on your next inhale, really lift, pull that chest forward, and then exhale, release down, rounding everything. Wave like that a couple of times. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And then find a moment to relax. And then gently walk the hands back towards the torso so that we're sitting up nice and tall. Grab a block or a pillow or bolster, something to rest on for just a moment. We're almost done, but we're not quite at Shavasana yet. So let's scoot our glutes forward just a little bit, bend the knees, feet on the ground. Hands forward, and then we're slowly going to roll ourselves down with control until we find our back on the mat. Let's bring the feet a little closer to the glutes. We're going to do a supported bridge because we've been working very hard, and you should be very proud of yourself. But if you're like me, your body might be screaming for a bit of a rest. And so, in honor of Tapas, and discipline and finding freedom in that discipline, we're going to honor that. So make sure you have your block nearby. Press down into the mat, into your feet and hands. As you inhale, lift the tailbone and roll the spine up. And once you get up far enough, take that block and press it underneath your sacrum. So that's going to be the lower part of your flat lower backbone, basically, right above the meaty part of your glutes. And you might need to adjust a bit, but you shouldn't feel a pain or a pinch anywhere where it's resting. And if this medium setting of the block is too high, then place it on the lower one. Or maybe you're using a pillow or something, and that is perfectly fine. Just allow your body to rest in this position. We're slightly inverted, so we're getting a bit of restoration here. 3 more rounds of breath. Keep them nice and deep on the inhales, long exhales, being expansive 360 degrees into the body. Once you've reached your last round of breath, we're going to press down into the mat so that we can lift our hips off of the block, remove the block, and slowly lower our back down vertebra by vertebra until the tailbone reaches the mat, and we're back in neutral position. We're going to stretch our legs out, bring our arms down, spreading out as much as you'd like. Take up enough space. We're moving into Shavasana. So allow your hands, your palms to face up towards the sky because we want to be open for the year, for the challenges that await, for all of the goals we want to set for ourselves. And then just allow your body to gently relax. Maybe doing a body scan starting at the toes. If you'd like to go for a longer Shavasana, and you totally deserve it, then please pause the video and continue with your own timer or your own breath. And when you're ready, you can come back to the video and close out with it. If you're ready to close out, then please go ahead and bring your mind back to your body. Start to deepen your inhales. Gently find maybe a hug, knees to chest, or you find your way back up into a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like at the end of your practice. And let's take our Kubera Mudra one more time so that we can really focus on cultivation as we move into the new year. Relax, remain deep, expansive as you continue to think about whatever you'd like to be cultivating in your life. We did such a great job working through the third Niyama today. Finding tapas, challenging ourselves, building that heat and that passion for whatever it is that you wanted to build passion for today. The question, what are you willing to cultivate after we move forward from today? What are you willing to cultivate? And now some mantras that will help you with that. My favorite that I use a lot is, I am willing to be willing. Whatever it is, I'm willing to be willing. Because sometimes I have to get there first. Another option is, I am strong. I am strong. Change is scary, but I can do this. Change is scary, but I can do this. I am planting seeds. I am planting seeds. Choose your mantra. And let's breathe 3 rounds of breath. Once you've finished your 3 rounds, let's inhale together, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands in prayer in front of the chest. Thumbs to third eye. Bow to seal your practice if you are comfortable with that. And thank you so much for joining me today for our classes. I am excited to continue practicing with you into 2022. So I hope that this serves you well, and I hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful new year. I hope you stay safe. Bye, friends.